In this tutorial, I am going to show you how to create a clean and responsive restaurant landing page using Elementor. From creating your header and navigation, and hey look, when I click on any of the items in this navigation, I'm taken straight to that navigation or section on that same page. For example, when I click on the menu, voila, I'm taken straight to the menu. When I click on the blog section, I'm taken straight to the blog section. I'll show you every bit on how you can create and style up every section in here, from the button, the headings for example, like highlighting part of the heading, adding custom images, also floating off-canvas images just like this over here. I'll show you every other bit on how to create all these sections, these custom cards over here, and also adding a clickable column just like this over here, and also adding a beautiful section just like this over here, including an opt-in form, and also adding a blog archive section where your website visitors can always click and go read further about your restaurant or business. This landing page will be fully responsive on all devices, all sections, looking nice, clean and neat, and fully responsive. As well on a tablet device, in this case now we don't have a drop-down menu like on the mobile phone, and every other image and content is still looking nice and neat. All the sections still work as they should, clickable, accessible, and looking beautiful. So in case you ever wanted to create a clean and responsive landing page or restaurant landing page using Elementor, this is a tutorial for you. Make sure that you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, grab a cup of coffee, and let's get started. Inside our WordPress dashboard, we are going to come straight to Elementor, Templates, and we go straight to landing pages. This is the area where you can create landing pages for your Elementor website. We are going to add a new landing page. We will not be using any of the templates right here, so I'll be closing this pop-up. And now we have a blank canvas. Before we continue, we're going to go down here to the gear icon, so we open up our settings and we can rename our landing page. So we are going to name this page Responsive Restaurant Landing Page. I'll save as a draft and I'll come back to my editor. I'll add a new section, and in this section we are going to first create our style guide for our landing page. The style guide includes how our headers are going to look like, our subheaders, our content, and as well as the colors we'll be using in this landing page. So I'm going to start by dragging a heading widget. We're going to also drag a text editor widget, and we'll also drag a button. We are going to style up these three widgets so that we are able to use the same styles all over our website. We'll select the first widget. We're going to come to style. We're going to change the color. We'll change this color to the black color that we are going to be using, and the typography to the font face that we'll be using for all our headings. So in this case we are going to be using Poppins, and it's going to be 60 pixels. The weight will be 600. The transform is going to be capitalized, and the line height will be 75. This will work out for all our main headers, but we'll also have another header and a subheader. So I'm going to duplicate this, but this over here will be 45 pixels. So I'll come back here to the style, typography, and I will change this to 45 pixels. For the content, we'll also set that to Poppins. It will be 18 pixels, and the weight will stay 400. We'll leave the rest on normal. You'll notice that for all the headings we're having the same color, which is a dark black, and for the content we'll be having a gray. Now let's go to the buttons. For the typography we are going to have Poppins as well. Size will be 18 and the weight will be 400. For the background color we will use this color over here. And for the text color it will be white color, which is FFFF. So right now we have set up how our headings are going to look like, the subheadings, the content, and our buttons. The next task is to save these as global settings so that whenever we want to use them, we just simply click over here on the global icon and select that option. So for example, for the main heading, I'm going to select this and I'll save this black as a global color. So I'll say add a new global color and I'll give it a name. As well, we come to the typography option and create a new global font. So this is going to be for the main heading. The same will also do for the content widget. First of all, we'll select the color and save it as a global color. Give it a name and save. Next, we go to the typography. Create a new global font. Give it a name. This is for the content. And then save. For the buttons, we'll as well come to the typography and then create a new global font and name this as buttons font. Come to the color and we'll also save this as a global color. So now we have created a style guide for our landing page. Now let's get started creating our page sections. I'm going to add a new section. It's going to be a 2-column section. I'll make the first column to take over 80% of this section. I'll select the main section. I'll come to minimum height and I'll give it a viewport height of 80. I'm going to come to the style option, background type. I'll make it a gradient. I'll give it a background color and that will be our yellow. Second color is going to be a transparent color, a complete transparent color. And for the angle, we are going to make it 270. And for the location, for the first color, we're going to make it 25. And the second color will be 23. So we have something like this. We're going to give this section a background overlay effect that is going to give this section a sort of a parallax effect. And a background overlay, we're going to choose a background type and that is going to be an image. I'll insert my background image. I'll come to position. I'll make it center. Attachment will be fixed and the opacity is going to be 0.03 just to make it a little bit lighter. Back to our widgets area, we're going to add an inner section and that inner section is going to be only one column. So I'll delete the other column. I'll add a heading widget. I'll add another heading widget as well. And I'll add a text editor widget. And I'll add a button. I'll come to the first heading widget. I'll add my text. I'm going to come to style. Under text color, we'll add our yellow, which is a global color. Under typography, we're going to give it our content text style, which is that. Looks good. For the next heading widget, we'll add our text. We serve delicious food. We're going to come to style. Text color is going to be our heading color. Under typography, the font style is going to be for our main heading. Oh, I have to fix this. Not service, but actually serve. Sorry about that. So I was explaining that we need to break this text and then we are going to make the word delicious in yellow color. So to give that emphasis, we're going to add a small CSS code. So in this case, we will add our word as we serve, then break that word with a HTML tag for BR, and then we add our CSS tag, which is a span tag, and is going to enable us to style the word delicious in this color, which is our color code for yellow. And then the styling continues with the rest of the words after that, just like you see here. We will now select our text editor widget. We are first of all going to break this text. By pressing Shift and Enter, we'll break that. And again, Shift and Enter, we'll break that. So we have it a little bit more decent like this. Under Style, we'll select our text color to our global color for the content. Under Typography, we're going to choose Content as our text style. Awesome. We'll select our button. We'll add our text as order now. You can add a link to any page on your website where you want your website visitors to be redirected. Under Size, I'll choose Medium. Under Style, Typography, I'm going to choose our style for the buttons. And color, text color is going to be our white color. Background color is going to be our color that we chose, which is our orange from the global colors. Actually, our yellow from the global colors. And for the border radius, we'll set that to 35. For the text shadow, we'll add a very small shadow. And we'll just make sure that it's a little bit transparent. Under hover, text color will change to our yellow color. And background color is going to be a white. In the next column, we are going to add two image widgets. I'll drag my image widget, first one, and add another widget, second one. I'm going to select the first image widget. I'll add my image. I'll set the image size to full. I'll come to advanced. Margins, I'll unlink them. On the right hand side, I'm going to add a negative 500 pixels. And on the left side, I'll add a negative 400 pixels. For the second image widget, we're going to add our image. I'll change the image size to full. Under advanced, positioning, under the width option, I'll set that to custom. For the viewport width, I'm going to set that to 66. And for the position, I'll set that to absolute. I'll set the horizontal orientation to right. The viewport width is going to be negative 65. You can as well use this knob over here or the slider to slide in or out your image. I'll just leave it at negative 65. For the vertical orientation, we'll leave it in pixels and give it a 151 pixels. Now when we preview our site, that's how it looks like. Our off-canvas image, our main hero image, our content which is centered in our section, and all looks good. Now let's head back into our editor and add content for the other sections. Back inside our editor, I'm going to come to this section, rename it to Hero 1. I'll duplicate this section. I'll name the second section as Hero 2. With the Hero 2 section selected, under Style, I'm going to remove the background. I'm going to delete the second column. Now we have a one column section, and I'll delete all these other widgets. So inside this section, inside still the first column, I'm going to delete all the other widgets that are in there. I'll select all these widgets and I'll have them deleted. I'm going to select that section, and under layout, for the minimum height option, I'm going to change that to default so we don't have a minimum height. And I'll set the column gap to extended, so that's it. I'll add an inner section and it will have two columns. The first column will be 40%. I'll add my heading widget, and for the next column we'll add our text editor widget. With our heading widget selected, we're going to add our title. Select the title. Under style, we're going to give it a title color, which is our heading color. Under typography, we're going to give it our heading font style, which is that. Under content, we're going to style up the next word over here in our yellow color. And to do that, we'll simply do the same thing that we did for our heading over here. With our style added, it's basically adding this color, which is this color code, to this word over here. Awesome, now we have our services word in our yellow color, or with some emphasis. In the next column, select our text editor widget, come to style, we'll give it our content color style. Under typography, we're going to give it our content font style. Beautiful. Select the inner section, come to vertical align, and align there to the middle. Everything now will move to the middle. Select the column holding our services heading, come to style, border, we're going to give it a solid border, unlink the values, and that solid border is going to be 20 pixels. On the left hand side, we're going to give it a color which is our yellow. Select our inner section still, under advanced, unlink the values. For the bottom option, we're going to give it a margin of 50 pixels. I'll add another inner section. It's going to be only one column. I'll add our heading widget. With the heading widget selected, under style, text color is going to be our heading color. For typography, we're going to choose our pop-in style, which is 45. And under content, we're going to add our content. And here we're using the same style that we used over here, whereby we give emphasis to one or two words in the text. Now we are emphasizing our meal. We're going to align this text in the middle, and with our column selected, under advanced, we'll add padding of 40 pixels all over. I'll add another inner section. This inner section will have three columns. The first column will be 38%, second column 38% as well, and the last column will take the rest. Inside this first column, we want to have another inner section. And if I come over here to the widgets area and I grab an inner section, you realize that I'm unable to add an inner section inside these other columns. So the question is, how do you add an inner section inside an inner section? There is a trick around that. What you're going to do is simply come over here, copy the column of the main section, come to your column inside the inner section, and then paste that column. That way you are going to be able to have an inner section inside an inner section, just like you see here. So what I'm going to do is to delete whatever I don't want. So I'll also delete these other inner sections. In our first column, we're going to give it a background type, which is an image. I'll add a spacer widget. I'll give it 254 pixels. Back to our column. Under position, I'll set it to be custom. For the X position, I'll give it -15 pixels. And for the Y position, I'll give it -76 pixels. For the size, I'll set that to cover. Inside my inner section, which is inside this column, I'm going to add my heading widget, a text editor widget, an icon list widget, and a button widget. I'll select my inner section. Under style, I'll add a background type, which is going to be our background color, but a little bit transparent. I'll select the column. Under advanced, I'll remove all the paddings. Now I'll select the inner section column. Under advanced, I'll add padding of 20 pixels. I'll select the main column still. I'll make it to take over 38%. I'll now select my main heading widget, and inside here we'll add our content. So this is going to be spicy curry. Under style, we'll add a text color of white. Under typography, we'll give it our Poppins font. For the text editor widget, under style, we're going to change the text color to white. And typography is going to be our content text. We'll as well add our content. For our list item, we're going to delete all the other list items, remain with only one list item. Add our content, in this case it is the time. Choose an icon from the icons library. Under style, icon, we're going to change the color to white, the text color, and that is also going to be white. For our typography, we're going to change that to our content text. I'll come to advanced. Positioning, we will change the width from default to inline auto. We select our button, add our button text. We change the button text to order now. The size of the button is medium. You'll have to add a link where your website visitor will be redirected on clicking the button. You add the link over here. Under size, I'll select medium. And under the icon option, I'm going to go to the icons library and select an arrow, which is this. I'll set it to be after. And under style, typography, I'll choose our buttons font. For the text color, we'll choose our yellow color. And for the background type, it's going to be our white color. For the border radius, it's going to be 35. Since this button is inside this card, we can maybe reduce on the font size, so we don't use the global button font style. I'll select the button. Under typography, I'll choose this to be like a 15 with our button selected. Under advanced, positioning, under the width option, I'll change this to inline auto. Now we have our button in the same alignment as our time. We're going to select our inner section, layout, vertical align, and select middle. So we have everything in here aligned to the middle of the section. We'll select our time. Under advanced, padding, a padding of 10 on the right hand side. In fact, 20 looks way better. Something like this. We'll select our column to add a rounded border just over here at the top. Under style, border, unlink the border radius, and on the right hand side we are going to give it a 35. Now that gives us a rounded border up over here. So far all looks good, but we want to add a hover transition on this image. So we are going to select the column, and under background overlay, on hover we are going to add our heading color, And for the transition, it's going to be about 0.3. We'll also change the transition to 0.5, and maybe we can reduce further opacity to around 0.2, something like this. Alright, now everything looks nice and neat. What we're going to do is now to duplicate this column, duplicate, delete this other column, make sure that this column is still 38%, second column 38% as well. We'll select the first column, under Advanced, unlink the margin values. On the right hand side, we are going to give it 15 pixels. And on the second column, under Advanced, we'll unlink the margins, and on the right hand side, we'll also give it 15 pixels, just to add this extra space of white. We will now edit the content of the second column. We'll start with a background image, under Style, choose another image, add the heading of your choice. Under the time option, select the icon list, change the time to the time of your choice. In the last column, background style, we're going to add an image. This image is going to cover, and we're going to add some content in here. We'll add our text editor widget and our icon widget. With this column selected, under layout, vertical align, everything will be in the middle. Select our icons widget, come to the icons library and look up for an arrow. I'll come to the style, we'll change our arrow color to white, and on hover, we're going to change that color to our yellow. Select the text editor widget, and we're going to change this to See More. Under style, text color is going to be white, and the typography is going to be our content text. We will update and have a preview of this page. We need now to center our content in the text editor, this over here. I'll come back to the editor, select our text editor widget, and the alignment will set it to center. This is it here. We're going to add a rounded border at the top here, and also to make this column clickable. Back inside our editor, select our column, come to Style, under Border, unlink the values. The border radius on the right hand side is going to be 35. Now we have that rounded border here. With still our column selected, under Layout, you can add a link over here on the column link option. Now you've enabled that once someone is on this column over here, they can simply click anywhere and they're redirected to a page of your choice. Now let's go and style up our buttons on hover. With our button selected, under Style, hover, the text color will change to a white, and the background color will also change to our yellow color. Same for the other button, under Style, on hover, text color white. I'll save as a draft and also update our page. Congratulations on creating your meal plan section using cards and some custom features from Elementor. Now let's continue with our tutorial. I'll select my meal cards inner section, come to Advanced, unlink the values. At the bottom, I'm going to add 100 pixels to have extra space here. Not 1,000, but 100. I'll come up here, copy this inner section, or simply duplicate and drag that inner section down below here. I'll customize this heading. Why choose our food? I'll add another inner section. It will have 3 columns. Inside the inner section, I'm going to add an icon widget, a heading widget, and a text editor widget. With the icon widget selected, I'll come to the library and search for a hamburger. The view is stacked and it's in circle. I'll align it to the left hand side. Under Style, the primary color is going to be a little bit transparent, but the secondary color is going to be our yellow. The size will be 60 pixels. Select our heading widget, add our content, under Style, the text color is going to be our heading color, typography, we'll set our heading font with our color. Under Advanced Margins, I'll add a top margin of 45 pixels. Select our text editor. Text color will be our content color. Under Typography, we'll choose our content typography. We'll select our column. Under Advanced, add padding of 40 pixels all over the column. I'll now duplicate this column and duplicate again. I'll delete the other two columns. Inside the middle column, I'll change the icon, select the heading, add our content. I'll select this column to give it a drop shadow. Under Style, Border, I'll give it a vertical shadow of 25, a blur of 45, and a spread of -20 to have something like this. But don't forget to add the border radius to make it even more beautiful. Something like this. On the last column, I'll select the icon widget, come to the icon library, add my icon, select my heading widget, edit the content, and there I go. I'll select my inner section, come to Advanced, and link the margin values and add a bottom margin of 100 pixels. I'll now save the draft, and then we'll head straight to the preview to see how this looks like. Awesome! The drop shadow really stands out for me, and I love the fact that our icons are blending in with our style guide. Back inside our editor, we're going to come to the widgets area and add another inner section. It's going to be a one-column inner section, and with the inner section selected, under Style, Background Type, we'll give it a background color of our yellow, but a tint of that yellow. We'll copy this widget or the heading widget here, come inside our column and paste that heading widget. We edit the content, subscribe for our promos. Back to our widgets area, we'll look up for a form widget, drag it into our inner section. We're going to delete the name field and the message field. We'll change the input size to large, and we don't want to show a label. Under buttons, we change the size to large and the alignment to center. The text in the submit button is going to be subscribe, and the icon is going to be our arrow. And it will be after. Under Style, the text color in the field is going to be our orange, which is the placeholder color. And the typography is going to be our content font, and the background will be white, or it will stay white. We don't want to have a solid border, but for the border radius we want to have a rounded border. So I'll set that to be 35. For the buttons, typography, we'll choose our buttons font. On normal, the background color is going to be our yellow, text color will be white. Border radius will be 35, and on hover, background color is going to be white, text color will be our yellow. Something like this. Now let's go and preview by saving a draft. Okay, once our preview loads up, let's go and look into our subscription form. Awesome! When I hover over our button, it looks beautiful. I'll select my column that is holding our heading widget and the opt-in form. Under Advanced, I'll add padding of 40 all over. Please don't forget to go make changes to your actions after submit on this form. For example, with the opt-in form selected, under Content, Actions after submit, you have to choose where submissions will be heading to, whether to your autoresponder like MailChimp, ActiveCampaign. Just make sure that you set it up in the right way. To create our last section, I'm going to come and copy this section. I'll paste that section after this section. I want to paste, not to duplicate. And I'll select now our opt-in form under Advanced and link the margin. And at the bottom, I'm going to add 100 pixels. I'll select my heading widget. So I'll edit the title to more of our services, which is having the emphasis. I'll add another inner section. The inner section will have two columns. The first column will take 72%, and the other column will take the rest. I'll come here to my widgets area, and look up for my posts widget or the post archive widget, which is this here from Elementor. I'll drag it into my column. With it selected, I'm going to choose the skin to be cards. Columns, I want only 2, and the posts per page I only want 2. Show image, yes, I want to show a preview. I don't want to show the metadata, and as well I don't want to show the taxonomy badge, which is here, and in this case it's showing uncategorized. So I don't want to show the badge, and as well I don't want to show the avatar, which is the author's photo right here. So I will disable that as well. I'll update for now, so we have a preview of what we are doing. Alright, so far so good. Now let's go and add custom styles to our headings and content. Inside our editor, select our post widget, come to style. Column gap is going to be 15 for me. Under the card option, for the background option, we'll set it up to our yellow. We'll enable the box shadow, and hover effect will stay as gradient. Under content, we're going to change the color to white. That is for our title. And for the typography, we're going to give it our heading font style. And we'll head straight to the read more options. For the color option, we'll switch that to white. And typography will be given our content text. Not forgetting the excerpt settings, color is going to switch to white as well. And for the typography, we're going to change that as well to our content style. We'll head straight to our blog post content archive. Looks good, but too long. With our post widget selected, under content, the excerpt length, we can change that to maybe a 15. Preview this. Our preview looks a little bit way better. By reducing the excerpt length to 15, our preview looks a little bit more neat here, without being too crowded with too much text. I'm going to add now our last column here. I'll first of all come back here to this other section. I'll copy this column. I'll come back to our post section, and then I'll paste my column. I'm going to delete this other column, and I make this main column to be 72%. With our column selected, you can add a custom link to the main column to redirect your visitors to your blog archive page. Still with the column selected, I'm going to come to style because I want to make this text a little bit more visible. So under background overlay, I'm going to add a background type, which is going to be white color, and increase a little bit on the opacity. I'll change the color for the icon. On normal, it's going to be yellow, and on hover, it's going to be our yellow but a little bit transparent. All looks nice and neat. Let me save a draft and then we have a preview. Looks good. Let's add some customization so that these two columns are aligning together. I'll remove the padding for the posts widget and also remove the padding for the last column. I'll select the first column which holds the post widget, advanced. We'll add a margin of 15 on the right hand side. So in this case I'm going to publish. Now let's preview our landing page. Beautiful. Now we have all the columns aligned together at the same time at the bottom and having the same column spacing. And this column is clickable and everything looks nice and neat. We will now create a navigation for our landing page. We're going to add a new section. It's a 2-column section. The first column will take only 20% and we'll add our heading widget and it will have the title of our website. Under style, text color is going to change to our yellow. Typography, we'll give it our main heading size. We are going to come back here to the widgets and look up for our nav widget, which is from Elementor. Drag it inside the next column. Now in here we have to choose a menu that we are going to display in our navigation. Under menus, we're going to select our restaurant landing menu. To create your menu in Elementor, you're going to simply Command E or Control E if you're using Windows. Then go under straight to menus. I have already created my restaurant landing menu, which is this here. You can create a menu by coming over here to create a new menu, give it a name, and assign items to your menu. Once you're done creating your menu, you'll be able to echo that menu right over here in the menus area. Our menu layout will be horizontal, and the pointer, we don't actually want a pointer on this menu. We'll align our menu to the left hand side, and our menu breakpoint will be on the mobile. We're going to leave the rest of the settings to the default settings. Under Style, Typography, we're going to choose our content text. Color is going to be our black or content color, or name it heading color. I'll add some weight to the text, so make it like 600. Alright, I'll set the horizontal padding to 13 and space in between to 25. Under Hover, text color will be our yellow, or will turn to yellow, and on active it will as well stay yellow. Under Toggle, the color will be yellow, background will be white. If I'm to preview this on the mobile tab, on a mobile device, this is what we're trying to style up right now. Border radius, I'm going to make it to be 35, so we have a rounded toggle button. For our first column, we are going to make it to be 80%, and for our toggle column, we'll make it to take only 20%. With the section selected, vertical align, we'll set that to middle, and we'll reduce the size of our heading on the mobile. Now we have our header created with our logo, which is this, and you can link up that logo to your home page by searching up for your home page. That means that whoever clicks on this logo, they'll be redirected to your home page. Now we've styled up our logo and toggle button on the mobile device. Let's look at it on the tablet device. I'll select the header once again, reduce a little bit on the size of the heading. 38 looks good. The other text looks fine as well. I'll simply now reposition my header. I'll select the whole section, come to my navigation, rename this to header. I'll drag it to the top. But now we want that our header is seated on top of our first hero section. We'll select the first hero section, under Advanced, unlink the margin values, and over here we're going to give it a negative margin of about 70. We'll make it 80, and then we're going to select our header widget and make sure that it is having a higher Z index compared to the section below it, so that no content will be hidden behind the other section. For now, our logo looks a little bit huge, so I can simply resize that again once more. So I'll make it like a 45. Now we have our header, our main sections, and all our content in here. How are we able to link this menu so that when someone clicks on the menu, they are able to access that particular section on the landing page? In this case, we are going to first assign custom CSS IDs to the sections where we want our website visitor to be taken straight once they click on the menu item. If someone clicks on the menu item, they should be taken starting over right here. See our meal plan. So I'm going to select this section, come to Advanced, and under CSS ID, I'm going to give it as menu. This CSS ID should be unique and should not be used anywhere else on the page. For the reasons or why someone should actually eat their food, I'll select this header, and Advanced, CSS ID, I'll assign as reason. And for the blog section, which starts over here, I'll select this inner section, and Advanced, CSS ID, I'll add a blog. Update. Once you're done updating, you'll go to your menus area and add these custom CSS IDs to those respective menu items. I'll go straight to the menus, and for example, for the menu item called menu, but in this case, it should have this hashtag, and then add the menu ID, which is that. Same for the reasons menu item, hashtag reasons. Repeat the same for the other sections. I'll come back to my Elementor website. I'll preview our landing page, and when someone clicks on the menu item called menu, boom, straight they are taken to the menu section. And if they're right here and they click on the blog menu item, boom, they are taken straight to the blog section. Before we close up this tutorial, let's look into the responsive settings of each of these sections so that our website looks good on both tablet and mobile devices. Back inside our editor, we're going to go straight to the mobile device. For our header, we select our menu. We're going to come to the horizontal padding. We're going to reduce that a little bit so that all our menu items are not going inside the orange column. To our other hero section, select our image. I'll first unlink the values, change this to -200, and -300. Select the other image widget, Advanced, Positioning. We're going to set this to -34 and for the vertical orientation to 300. I can reduce a little bit also on its size so that it's not too visible, but when it's visible. I'll now select my main header, under Style, Typography. I'll reduce on the size. Select our text editor widget, under Style, Typography, reduce also on the size of that content. With the hero section selected, under Layout, minimum height on the tablet, we're going to reduce that a little bit. Around 75 is good. The next section looks fine for the services. The other section as well. This over here looks fine. This over here needs some work. I can start by reducing on the size of the headings. I'll give these headings, both of them, a 28. We'll leave the text as it is. Leave this header as it is as well. For this over here, we'll also change it to a 28. The same we'll do for our blog, content, titles, under content. I'll give it a 28. We'll now go straight to our mobile device. Let's first reduce on the margin of the first hero section. Under Advanced, I'll unlink the margins first of all. I'll come to Responsive, and I'm going to reverse these columns on the mobile device. So we start with the images and then the content comes in. I'll now select my image, the first image, unlink the values. I'll give it a -120 on the right and a -50 on the left. I'll hide the text Kampala-based restaurants on the mobile. I'll select my heading widget, come to typography. I'll further reduce that heading widget. I'll start by decreasing the line height and decrease the size of the heading widget. Select our text widget, also reduce on the size. I'll leave the size of the text to 16 and add a little bit of line height. I'll select the next section. Under Advanced, I'll unlink the padding, and at the top I'll give it a padding of 50, so there is some space between the two sections. This looks fine. The heading looks okay. The meal cards look fine. And as well for the last column. I'm going to add some margin at the top though. Advanced, unlink the margins, but at the top I'm going to add a 10. This looks okay. This looks fine. Our promos and also our blog content. I'll as well add some margin at the top of this column. Advanced, unlink, top, 10. Beautiful. Let's go preview our landing page on mobile devices. This is on the iPhone 12 Pro. Looks clean. Let's preview this on the Samsung Galaxy tab. Our menu is still visible. Our images and content, and all our sections. You can go ahead and add some custom settings and styles to your sections, like sticking some sections, floating animations, and a lot more. Once you're done creating your landing page in Elementor, make sure that you publish it. If you don't see that option over here, you can simply come back over here to the status option and make sure that it is published. Once it's published, under your dashboard in your Elementor website, come to your Elementor templates and open up your landing pages. Inside here, you'll see all the listed landing pages you've created. And so far we have only one landing page. When I preview this over here in our new tab, it will show up as our landing page. But to give this landing page a unique and readable URL, we're going to go back inside our dashboard. We're going to come to Settings and we come to Permalinks. Under Permalinks, we're going to choose that the post name is going to be our permalink for our pages on our website. So check that and save changes. Now when I come back to our templates, landing pages, I open up this landing page in a new tab. Now you realize that we have a better and readable URL for our landing page, contrary to what we had before, which was this. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. It was fun making this video, and I hope to make more of these kind of videos on the channel. If you haven't subscribed already, please consider doing so. And if you like the video, please give it a like because that actually helps me out. Have a good time and goodbye.